Morning team, how are we? Happy hump day. Although in the academy, it's pump day, isn't it? Happy pump day, guys. I hope you're having a beautiful start to the morning. We're coming in for another episode of the podcast. We're doing a midweek version. And so we're going to get stuck into this in 2 minutes. So if you're coming into this one live, let us know, guys. We're going to be getting started in 2 moments. And I think this is going to be a very beneficial episode for the crew here. If they're kind of wondering a little bit why, they're never solving their struggles with this whole weight loss thing permanently. So as you're coming into this one live, guys, make sure you let us know in the comments that you're here, you're ready to get some value out of the podcast. I think this one is going to be really, really beneficial. And if you understand the ideas that we talk about in this episode, I think it's going to benefit you a hell of a lot. So we got some crew coming in live. I love it, guys. So a little bit out of schedule. I do want to become, if I can, a little bit more regular on this podcast. So trying to set up our systems to make sure that we're delivering as much value to you, us, our crew, as possible. So, guys, we're going to get started in 30 seconds. All right, so Kenny, how are you, mate? Good evening. I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful afternoon there, brother. Nikki's in here. Hello, Nikki. How are you? What a beautiful photo, you and the Jeff man. Hey, Sue. How are you, mate? Good to see you in here as well. Ash is here. Good morning, Ash. How are you? Tez is back for some. Marky Hunter's back for some. I'm here. I can't see who I'm here is, but we do digress. Davey Leggett, I'll come back to you in the messenger after I've done this podcast, my sexy man. I hope you're watching me from a view over a beautiful ocean somewhere, Dave. You're not out in like some random part of like Western New South Wales. Ezra, what's going on? All right, guys, I think we are ready to rock and roll on this one. So let's do it on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to the Better Body Academy podcast. This is the podcast that you come to when you're sick of these dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. Now, in today, I'm going to deal with a topic which I think would really, really help more people understand why their weight loss journey has become like this. Up and down, up and down, up and down. The title of this episode is The Simple Reason Most People Stay Stuck Forever. And it's not going to be a really long episode, but it's an idea that I want to plant because I think it's really, really important that you, inside of Better Body Academy, you understand this. And if you understand this, it's going to help you direct your actions in the right way to make sure that this is the last time you pay for fitness and weight loss coaching or plans or whatever you want to call it. Does this make sense? Does this sound like a fair deal? So let's talk about what happens on most people's journeys. Most people's journeys, they're just very, very over the long term, on and off, motivated and not, love it, hate it, lose weight, gain weight. Is that you? Let me know in the messages, in the comments of those watching on live, is that you? Does it really just feel like it's like always on, off, open, shut? It's this like binary thing that's going on and it never actually feels like you're in control. And as a consumer who wants to get to the result, what that does is leads to a whole bunch of frustration creeping in. The kind of questions that we might ask ourselves are, am I ever going to be able to get this weight off? Am I ever going to be able to solve this? Am I ever going to feel good in this body? Am I ever going to feel like my confidence is going to return? Am I ever going to feel like I'm a good role model for my kids? Am I ever going to solve this issue that's going on here? And I think that the fitness industry actually plays a massive role in propagating the problem, in continuing the problem. I'm going to give you an insight into why I believe this is true. I believe this is true because the fitness industry just keeps giving people plan after plan. Here's another meal plan. Here's another workout plan. Plan. So we're going to go into why is that actually a problem. Think about any transformation journey. There's three main areas that we're looking to transform, most of us. They are our health, of course, which is why we're in Better Body Academy, but then our wealth and our relationships. These are typically the three areas that all of us are looking to see some improvements in, right? Why is it that we don't have what we already want right now? Ask yourself the question. If you can just take a moment to if you're listening in live, ask yourself the question, why haven't I lost the weight that I wanted to lose now? Why haven't I got to some level of feeling good about my finances? Why am I still struggling in my relationship, either with myself or with a partner? And I just feel that it's still it's just not moving forward. So ask yourself the question, why is that? Why do we not have what we want? I think it boils down to these two major categories, right? Either we know what needs to be done, but we're not doing it. And the reason that we're not doing it could be a host of different reasons, right? So whether you're thinking about your relationship or your weight, it doesn't really matter. You know what to do, or you think you know what to do, but we're not doing it. And it might be because we've got 15,000 priorities and this is just not the number one priority. And that would be completely reasonable. It's not for me to tell you what's your priority or not. As an example, you might feel like you need to save some money or budget. But if that's not your priority, well then it's not going to be done. So it's this idea that the first thing or first reason that you aren't getting what you want is because you know what to do or you think you know what to do, but you're not doing it for whatever reason. The second reason that you're not getting what you want is that you don't actually know what to do, right? So for me, if I rewind back around 6 or 7 years, when I started doing coaching as a side hustle, I knew what to do, to teach people in terms of once they started as a client. But what I didn't know what to do is how to actually get people to ask for help. So it's not that I didn't want it, I just didn't know what to do. I thought I was doing the right thing, but I didn't know what to do. And it was causing a whole bunch of frustration. So if you are in Better Body Academy and you're watching this video or listening to the podcast, I'm going to assume that for you, it's not the prioritization that is the main issue. I'm going to assume that you either need some accountability in doing what you know you need to do, or you don't quite know what to do, possibly despite the fact that you think you know what to do. Does that make sense? So in other words, we could boil it down to either a knowledge issue or an effort style issue. Does that make sense? Yeah, Erin's boiled it down to implementation and accountability. Yeah, I'd say that is a pretty good summary. So if that's actually the case, there's two ways that I could essentially coach you, right? I could give you a plan and say, just trust the plan and just follow it. Just trust the plan and follow it, okay? Or I could give you the key concept and allow you to choose the vehicle that you want to run with. Does that make sense? I could either just tell you to do this thing and you just blindly follow it, or I could explain and educate you on the key concept and allow you to choose the vehicle that you sit in. And here's an example. If you wanted to lose weight, I could give you meal plan. It's been a discussion in coaches for a long time. Could we just give people meal plan after 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 meal plan? All nice and custom. We could do that. Or could I give you the key concept that you only lose weight if you're in a calorie deficit and you choose the vehicle that suits you? When you have a think about that, right, there are a bunch of different ways, nutritionally and exercise-wise, that you can, once you understand the key concept of only losing weight when you're in a calorie deficit, there are a bunch of different ways that you could achieve that. You could starve yourself. That's one vehicle. You could reduce your overall calories by going vegetarian. You could do lots of cardio. You could do F45. You could do fasting. You could do a keto diet. You could do man shake. These are all of the different vehicles that are available to you that would help you to apply the key concept. Likewise, if you wanted to build some wealth, I could tell you need to invest in shares. Or I could tell you to get a financial coach that teaches you the basics of budgeting and compound interest, and you choose whatever vehicle fits for you. Maybe it's not shares. Maybe it's property. Maybe it's business. Maybe it's high interest bank accounts. You choose the vehicle based on your knowledge and your risk tolerance. Or lastly, let's say that you wanted to improve your marriage. I could tell you, you know what you need to do? You just need to take a holiday and have some time off together. But there are a million different vehicles that you could sit on to improve your marriage, or you could get a relationship coach that teaches you the basics of communication, how to communicate to your partner a little bit more effectively, how to listen and express yourself properly, the key concept to a harmonious marriage. And if you were to do that, you could choose a bunch of different vehicles to make that happen. In any case, there is a range of different vehicles to achieve the key concept. So the question is, which one's better? Is it better to choose a vehicle, or is it better to choose the key concept? And that's a good question to ponder. Most people choose the vehicle, okay? By this, they choose keto, they choose man shake, they choose restrictive dieting. This is what most people do because it's easy to get up for. We can start today, right? Especially when it's new. These all work in the short term. Keto works in the short term. Yes. How does it work? Because when you cut out an entire food group, you reduce the overall calories that you're consuming in the day. Man shake works in the short term. How does it work? Because if you go from eating food to eating powdered shakes as your exclusive meals, you reduce the overall calories in the day. So you're choosing a vehicle that works in the short term, but doing it forever doesn't work. Kind of like how taking holidays every single time you have a fight with your partner doesn't work either. It might work the first once or twice, but after that, if you don't understand the fundamental concept, you're going to keep getting bitten by the same thing. So why do people continue to choose the vehicle? It's because they want quick fixes. They want quick fixes. The problem with this is that, like automobile vehicles usually get boring and break down. This means that you're all chopping and changing. I mean, think about it. Who wants to do keto for the rest of their life? It might work in the short term as a vehicle to you achieving your calorie deficit, but who wants to choose cutting out carbohydrates for their entire life? That sounds like a fucking shit way of living to me. You've chosen a vehicle over understanding the concept. When it comes to choosing the key concept, well, deep communication and compound interest, for example, these are key concepts of relationship and wealth building. So what are the key concepts of fat loss? What's the key concept? I ask you directly, if you're inside the academy, what is the key concept of fat loss? Please let me know in the comments, and there's 14 people watching live. You have to know the key concept of fat loss. What is it? Yes, calorie deficit. You only lose fat when you're in a calorie deficit. There are different vehicles for achieving this calorie deficit, but most coaches and most of the fitness industry, here's what they do. They separate you as the client from the key concept so that you stay confused. Does this make sense? Because think about it. If you never learn the key concept, you never permanently solve the issue, so you will keep coming back and paying. Now, inside Better Body Academy, here's what we do. We give both the key concept and a suggested vehicle. Okay, a suggested vehicle. Now, you guys would know what that suggested vehicle is. What is it? The trifecta system. That is the suggested vehicle. Nutritional calorie deficit, increasing your step count, and doing some resistance training. And I could go into the deep reasons as to why each one of those individual things is a really good vehicle, but that's the suggested vehicle. But there are plenty of people inside this academy that have lost weight without doing a single day of weight training in their life. Plenty of people. There are plenty of people that are not fasting. There are plenty of people that are, you know what? They're not even tracking their calories, so they couldn't even say that they're in a calorie deficit, but they're still losing weight. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? Inside Better Body Academy, we put so much time and effort into teaching the key concept with the intention of trying to free you over the long term. Think about it. There's two ways that you can build a fitness business, okay? You can keep people stuck so that they have to keep paying you, or you can be really committed and dedicated to teaching the key concept. And hopefully, if you teach enough people the key concept, you feel freedom as the client and you refer to us, all of your friends. We put up a picture of your transformation and say, Dave Leggett didn't restrict the hell out of himself. He just applied the key concept. That sounds desirable. So when you teach the key concept, guess what? It's mutually beneficial for the people that are teaching it and for the people that are consuming it. But if you just teach the vehicle, it's for the benefit only of the fitness industry or the coach, because you never actually free yourself. Does this make sense? The reason most people are stuck is that they never learn the key concept. They got into a vehicle for as long as they could until it became boring, and then they got out of the vehicle, but they didn't have another vehicle to apply the key concept to get them to where they need to get to. So they stay on the sidelines until the next time another vehicle drives past and they think, oh, you know what, I'll get in this vehicle, keto. And then 2 months in, they realize their life is fucked because they can't have a meat pie at the footy. Why is weight loss so hard? Because for most people, we just want to be told what to do. We don't want to do the learning. We don't want to be told. We think to ourselves, you know what? I went to school and I'm done with learning. Now we just want to be spoon-fed. But when you learn the key concept, weight loss becomes simple because you understand it. And what's the benefit to that? You teach it to your future generations either directly or by direct influence. You teach them about a calorie deficit, or they see abundantly clear how much food you can actually eat and lose weight, and they copy that. This is perfect modeling as a parent. So guys, after a great coaching session with Kev Grant this morning inside, it just became apparent to me why our best clients win. There's two reasons. They teach or get taught the key concept, and this comes in two major ways. Number one, they binge listen to this podcast. They get the information out of my mind and put it in their mind, and they repeat it. And once they repeat it, it's in there. It's in there for life. And that means you become the proponent of the information. The second thing they do is they watch the workshops. And I'm using this as a bit of an inroad to encourage anyone who has not done it. Our guide section of our program has been cleaned up massively. There are 8 key workshops of which we teach the key concept. We give you some suggested vehicles, but we teach the key concept. And if by the time you depart Better Body Academy, which we hope is obviously never, if you've understood the concept, you're going to be able to do this forever. If all you did was jumped in a vehicle like fasting, If you jumped in a vehicle like step tracking, if you jumped in the meal plan vehicle for a short period of time, you will lose weight. But I guarantee you, the moment you leave, you will put it back on because you don't understand the key concept that underpins why you're getting the results. This is a plea to anyone that's watching this live or listening to this to get involved with the key concept. Start to get curious and learn, why is this important? And to all of our mastermind students, you are advocates of the game because you're learning the key concepts around mindset change. We can't teach you everything in 12 weeks that we can possibly teach you, but we can try to give you the key concepts and then you choose the vehicle. As an example, if you want to manifest your dream life, think of all of the different vehicles that we've given you. But the key concept that we gave you is you have to overhaul your subconscious program because it's controlling everything you do 95% of the time. So the moment you take your hands off the wheel, if your subconscious programming isn't taking you to where you want to go to, you're going to end up somewhere that you don't want to be. Understand the key concept, choose the vehicle for which you want to reprogram those new behaviors. There's a billion different ways to do it. From visualization to meditation to self-hypnosis to repetition, and we could just keep going on. Again, just at a higher level, there's a key concept and there's a bunch of different vehicles to achieve what you need to do. Guys, that's it for this morning. I hope this has been helpful and maybe smack in between. If you're constantly struggling with, why am I not solving this? Go to the key concept as opposed to just taking another drive for a little bit in a vehicle. Does this make sense? This has been the Better Body Academy podcast. I hope it's been helpful. We'll see you in the next episode.